So welcome to class. Please make sure you clean up your equipment before you start. You can spray it down and wipe away till it dries. You want to have your straps and your handles handy. Keep your handles to the side next to your box. And then place your straps on there before we start. Measure them to make sure that they are even. And if they're not, fix them. You're gonna start with a blue and a green spring and your foot bar up. If it's not there already, go ahead and place it there. By unhooking the little knobs on the inside, the bar goes up to the high bar, and then you lock it again. You will start with your left foot up against the front of the reformer on the wooden part. And your right foot back, toes curled forward. We're gonna start standing, squaring the hips off in front of us. One hand can be on the bar to go back. And then come forward. You wanna bend into the front knee so that it bends over the ankle. Stay looking out in front. Find a spot in front of you, and then press up and down. A couple more times like this. Keeping the front leg straight to go back. And come forward. Again, press back to where you are comfortable controlling. And then pulling forward. Staying tall. 2 more times. Once more. And then other side. Right foot against the wooden part of the reformer. Left one against the shoulder block. Hips squared in front of us. Shoulder squared in front of us. Pressing back through the back leg and bending into the front leg and then pulling forward. Keeping the sternum facing forward. Ears reaching for the ceiling. Lengthening through the neck like a giraffe, reaching for the top leaves. Or a happy turtle coming out of its shell. Couple more times. Front leg straight to go back. And to come forward. Again, going back. And forward. Keeping your gaze out in front. 3 more. 2. Once more. Get close completely. We're going to keep the foot bar up high. Add 2 red springs so that you have everything but the center. Lower down your headrest, and then you are going to go onto your back. So, anchor your body onto the mat. Make your spine as long as possible. Grounding your feet into the bar to peel out one vertebra at a time. Keeping the carriage closed, and then reaching through the knees to lower down, 1 vertebra at a time. If you notice that your knees want to go up and go apart, work on lifting and keeping the knees pulled together this time. Just keeping the knees together. Reaching your knees past your toes and keeping your knees reaching as you lower down. If you notice that your shoulders rounded forward during that movement, let's focus on squeezing the back of the armpit, arm heavy towards the mat, but also watching that the ribs are staying heavy so that you peel up. Chest stays open. So if you notice that your wrists went up and you had spidery hands, work on keeping the elbows down, or you could even make a fist and pretend like you're pulling a towel apart, and then keep that to lift up into your shoulder bridge, keeping the carriage close, and then lowering back down. And then working on whichever one felt best to you for 3 more, lifting all the way up, feeling the back of the leg warm up, and then lowering down. One more time. And then down. Good. So now, you're going to lift your hips up onto that shoulder bridge, and then you're going to stay up. And up here, we'll press out to straight legs. It's heavy. And then you'll come back in. 3 more. 2. And 1 more. And then lowering back down. And hopefully you felt how much that makes your glutes work. If you felt anything different, let me know. Sit yourself up. And then take your foot bar down to the middle position. Keeping all the springs but the center. Pick up your headrest onto your back for footwork. Pilates feet, heels together, toes apart. Go start pressing out and pulling back in. Keeping the entire ball of the foot on the bar. The pinkies on the bar. Your back takes up space and your neck is long. Three more. Close completely and go to the arches. Wrap the toes over, heels under, press to a straight leg, and pull back in. When you press to a straight leg, stand into the bar, pull back in, again. Maybe picking up your tempo just a little bit faster than you usually would. But still keeping the tempo even to press out and back in. For 5, 4, 3, 2. And then when you finish, you will close completely to go onto the heels. If you can lift both feet up at the same time, great. Land on the heels, pull from the ankle to press away, and pull back in. Keeping the foot flexed back towards you. Good. Arms take up space. Upper back takes up space. Good. Still maintaining a long neck like when you were being a happy turtle or a giraffe. Sacrum heavy the entire time, feeling the lower abdomen work. For 3, 2, 1 more. Down to the ball of the foot. Let the feet separate about an inch. Heels together, toes slightly apart. Press out to lower the heels and lift, Keep the heels squeezing into each other and only lower as far as they stay connected the same amount. For example, after this, mine go apart a little bit. Keep the same surface area touching to lower and to lift. For 3, you can feel your glutes working on this side. 1 more. And then lift. Separate the heels, lower the heels together and lift. Separate the heels, lower the heels together. Lift for 3, 2, 1 more. And then reversing base, lowering down through center to separate at the bottom, then lift together and lower, separate, lift together and lower for 3, 2, 1 more. Bend both knees to come back in. Have your feet parallel. Give them a moment, shake them up. Shake them off if you need to. Or blabber if that's what you need. Apparently I did. And then press out for running. One heel lowers, the other one goes up. And you switch. Knees alternating straight up and down. Trying to keep the weight even throughout the ball of the foot on both feet at all times. If you notice that your butt touches one thumb and then the other, it's because your hips are probably swinging a little bit from side to side. So place your hands closer and engage the glutes. Try and keep the same distance between your hips and your hands to lower one heel and lift the other one high. And then switch. And if you can maintain even space between your arms and your hips, then you can start picking up the tempo. And that's how you would correct that if your hips were swinging from side to side. Not even sure. Good. Even out both sides and bend both knees to come back in. Perfect. You're going to sit yourself up. Legs can go over the bar. Hands for the ceiling. Taking an inhale to prep yourself. And then exhaling up. 1 blue and 1 green spring. Headrest stays up. We're going to place our feet into the straps next. You can keep your foot bar up if you'd like. I don't mind. Feet can go into your loops. Find your neutral spine, lengthen through the neck. Press out to straight legs. Find your neutral pelvis. Take a couple of breaths here. Stand into the straps. Feel how that makes your inner thighs work. How you can feel the outside of the glutes work. And just keep standing through. The sacrum will stay heavy to pull back in into your frog. And then you press out. And you pull in. And press away. Trying to make the movement really smooth, same tempo and as same tempo. And same tempo out. Pulling the knees in at the same tempo as you press out. Good. Two more like this. On your last one, the legs will stay straight. You stay in your Pilates V. To lift the legs up, sacrum stays the same, and lower the legs. You're just letting the femur and the thigh bone roll in the hip socket up and roll down. You can lead this movement from the knees, keeping your feet standing into the straps, so that you find your lower abdomen in the back of the legs. 5 more. 4. 3. 2. On your last one, turn them into circles at the top, going the width that is comfortable and controllable for you. Separating evenly from center line. If you notice that your feet are kind of wobbling over the place, all over the place, it's probably coming from your hips. You can place your hands on your hips, open the shoulders wide. Slow it down and keep it even until you find a tempo that works for you. If you notice that your back arches when you lower and that it flattens when you go up, you're moving too much through the spine. Press out at an angle, feel your sacrum be heavy. Keep your spine as is and just allow the femur to roll in the hip socket. To circle. For 5, 4, 3, 2. At the top, reverse. Lowering down through center, separating at the bottom to control up and back together. Again, keeping the spine neutral the entire time. Standing into the straps. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Hold the legs in for a butterfly stretch. You can grab onto the straps and shift your weight from side to side. You can pull your knees close and hug yourself, or just hug behind the knees. Going back to your neutral spine like you're about to frog away. Press out to frog. Straight legs up for the ceiling. Bend the knees to frog away. Moving in a range where the spine can stay neutral through the pelvis and the upper back. For 5, 4, 3, last 2, and once more. At the top, reverse, straight legs lower down, frog in, and straighten up, lower, back in, and up. For 5, 4, 3, last 2, And your last one, stay pulled into frog. We're gonna press out to straight leg. Right leg out to the side, left leg frogs in for Peter Pan. Tension stays even on both straps at all times. If you catch yourself reaching out more with one leg and the other, just slow it down so that the weight stays even on both legs, and press to center. Out to the right and center, out to the left and center. For 3, 3, 2, and 2. One more set. Last side. You can pull both legs in. Switch your feet to the short loops. Have your headrest down. If you don't have short loops, you can stay where you're at, or you could switch your springs to 2 reds. Heels together, toes apart. Hands firmly pressed down. Press out to straight legs. Look for the eyelet above you on the tower, and stay looking at it as your feet go up and over and your hips lift. Close the carriage. Pull the knees in. Lower through the spine. Pull the heels down. We do it again. Pressing out, up and over. Look for the eyelet. Stay looking for the eyelet. Relax the forehead and lower. For 3. 2 more. And 1 more. Good. Take your feet out of the straps. If you notice that short spine is difficult for you when your shoulders round forward, when you're going up and over and rolling down, you could practice squeezing the back of the armpits a little bit more and pushing through the hands, or even holding a towel underneath you to help you stay connected to your back. Go ahead and grab onto your boxes for long box. You can keep the green and the blue spring. This is kind of a fun one. You have to grab your straps. You can sit on the box. So once you sit on your box, you want to decide which way you want to turn. I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to just go to the opposite way on the box. My opposite leg on the other side is going to go behind, and I'm going to put the long loop or the short loop, if you have that one, on the foot. The other short loop is going to go on the other foot, so that you can flip onto your abdomen and keep the straps on your feet. Hugging your box, you have 2 springs, the green and the blue. That's slightly heavy, so just keep that in mind. Push down into the box, pull the heels towards your glutes, and away, gently closing. And again, pull in, press away. Keep the hips anchored down, abs drawing in to pull. Long neck, again, like you're a happy turtle coming out of your shell. For 3, 2, 1 more like this. Now keep the straps on your feet, reach the legs out, bring the knees together, keep the knees together to pull back in, to pull towards you, and away from you. Knees stay squeezing. pulling in and away. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and once more. Good. You can lengthen the legs out to wiggle the straps off, or help yourself take them off with the opposite leg. Good. Keep the heels connected, legs lengthen back, hands to the bar, press away, and pull back in, long neck. Press out like you're doing a handstand, and then you bend back in. For 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, long neck, and one more. Good. Press out to straight arms. Keep the arms straight. Bring the chest forward. Lift as tall as you can. Keep the abs pulling in. And then press back again to bend back in. Legs stay lengthened to reach out to straight arms. Abs pull in, you lift, sternum forward. And away. Let's wrap the hands on the bar if you're not doing that. For 3 more sets.
Well, feel free, if you have any questions, you want to know about anything, feel free to let me know.
2 more.
So, you guys.
And 1 more. Then back in. And then take yourself off to the side. Switch your spring to the center red spring. Once you switch to the one red spring, center red spring, you can take off your straps and replace them with the handles. If you're done with your straps, you can put them in their box. If you're not done with them, you can just keep them to the side. Stay on your box, face the tower. Grab onto your handles. Try and have as much surface area of your hand as possible on the handle. Sitting tall, press into the feet, knees together, and then pulling back and forward. Both hands press back. Both hands pull forward. Sternum lifts tall. The reformer's a little loud today. It's saying hello. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and one more time like this. Good. Have the knuckles punch into each other in front of you. Keep the hands about 3 to 5 inches away from your chest. Shoulders wide. Tuck through the tailbone to a round back. And then sit back up tall. And rounding back in your C curve. Your C curve is the tallest flexion shape that you can make through your spine. Flexion just means you're rounding forward. 2 more. Once more. Sit tall, elbows in front of you, hinging with a flat back, and back up. If you arch, don't do that. Sit tall, hinge from the hips. Push into your feet, and only go as far back as you can stay pushing into the feet and into the straps with the hands. And then sit tall. Keep that connection through the hands and the feet to lean. And pull for 5, 4, Once more.
Right?
Bring the straps back down, punch down towards the ground, sit tall.
Go to your feet.
Push into the feet, reach back, hold, look to the right, scan across the room, back to center, hands forward. Again, reach back, look left this time, scan across to the right, back to center, and forward. 3 more sets to each side going right.
You're okay. Yep. I'm just getting out.
Pull the left first, right, center, forward. 2 more sets.
Dan or Daniel? Daniel?
Good. Almost done with this. 1 more set. And even out both sides. Keep the handles in one hand. Flip over to the other side. Make sure you have about a hand's width of space behind you. And then reassign the handles to the appropriate arm. Feet will be on the carriage on the black mat, ideally off the wood. Good. Sit tall,
Like this.
reaching the bar, the handles in front of you, and back down.
Same position as that, okay?
You could picture that it's a bar. Chest stays tall.
A little bit, but not bad. Okay. Let those knees go forward.
For 5,
See the difference? Okay.
4,
You know, if you think that you can.
3, 2,
All right. Did anybody ever have you do
1.
this stuff?
Keep the hands in front of you within your peripheral vision. And we're going to do arm circles, reaching out in front, open, down, back up, in front of you where you can see your arms. Both hands press into the handles. Now wrap your hands for 2. 1 more. Keep the hands wrapped to reverse. 1 more like that.
So move your feet.
Open the fingers.
Okay. So here's what I want
2
you to
more.
do. I want you to move your feet. Stay
1 more.
And then have your feet like this.
We're going to create a triangle next with the hands for a shape ahead.
You're gonna bend at the head, just the hips.
Hands go behind the head.
It's gonna stay like this.
Thumb together, index together. Hinge from the hips, draw the abdomen and sit tall. If you feel like your head is dropped forward, keep your keep your neck long and reach out away, pull back in. Spring feels heavy, drop to a blue. 2 more like this. 3. 1 more. And then grab the handles, have them connected like they have magnets to reach out in front and back down for 2. And 1 more. And then if you want to do a bonus, because that felt awesome, go for a bonus. Good. Press out, open the arms, knee squeeze the box, pull in, open, or fingers reach for each other, and open. Whatever range feels best for you. For hug a tree, for 3, 2, once more. Hang up your handles,
You're trying to just do this.
maybe differently. Add all of your springs, taking the right leg on top of the box, the knee can be on there and the foot hanging, or you can have the foot parallel to the front of the box. Hips as squared forward as possible. You can hold here for a stretch, or you could hinge forward. For any reason this bothers your knees, you want to bring the foot closer to you. Or you could also have the foot hanging off the edge of the box. There's options. Take 1 more breath here. And then switch sides. Same thing, foot can be off the back, off the side, or on there. Hips squared forward, shoulders squared, hinching with a flat back to a position that feels like a nice stretch on your side. And sometimes a little bit of inner thigh stretch, or a lot.
But if I spin my butt back, I can bend all the way over. Okay?
Coming out of here, to switch your box over to short box. All springs are still on, short box, typically over the shoulder blocks. Sitting on your box and then placing your feet through the fussy lid. Sit tall, hug your ribs, and then create flexion through your spine. Keeping that flexion, reach through the feet to go back. Maybe you go back until you get to extension. And then you round forward, back into your flexion, to round up. If that's too much, you stay in your flexion, and you come forward. Reaching back. And rounding forward. Keeping your spine in the tallest flexion that you can have to go back. And back forward. Again, whatever range feels best for you. 4, 5. And yeah, we're doing quite a few today. 4. Last 3. 2. And once more like that. Now, interlace your fingers, thumbs down, hands behind the head. Sit yourself tall, pull your neck tall. Pinch back as far as you can keep the feet pressing out on the fussy loop. And then come back up. And again, going back with a flat back. And coming back up. For 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Stay tall. Reach the right elbow up, left one out to the side. Back to center. Left elbow up, right one out to the side. Back to center. For 3. Center. 3. Center. 2. 2. And last one. And then twist to the left and back to center. To the right and center left. Center right. Center one more to the left, like this. One more to the right, like this. To the left, and then lean back to center, other side. Good. For 5. 5. 4. 4. Lengthen your spine away. Like your spine's made of taffy. Reach to the side a little. Good. Bonus round, I think. Good. Right leg out. Hands behind the knees, sit tall. To straighten and bend. Again. One more. Keep the leg straight, hand up towards the ankle. To go back. And go forward. For 3. 2. We'll walk down, walk up, walking down for tree, and back up to the top. Bend that leg over the opposite one. Both hands to the side straps on the box. Turn forward for figure 4. And then switch legs. This one goes under. With hands behind the knee, even though the hips straighten and bend and straighten and bend. Once more, hands to the ankle to go back and forward. Bottom foot is flexed and forward. Once more, walking down and up. Once more. Good, the leg goes over the opposite one. Grab onto the straps on the side of the box to run forward for figure 4. Stack up the spine. You can come in out of there. Place your box away. Remove the remove the center spring so that you have everything but the center. Headrest up. Foot bar in the middle position. Onto your back. Ball of the foot, feet parallel, out to straight legs. We're running, keeping the weight even throughout both feet at all times, throughout the entire ball of the foot, and keeping the pinky toe on the bar. If you can maintain that, start to pick up the tempo. Knees tracking straight up and down. Again, keeping the hips anchored. Just noticing how this might feel different from the beginning. Maybe your feet feel stronger. Might feel easier. Maybe you're just tired. Couple more times. Even out on both sides. So bend both knees to come in, onto the arches wide on the bar. Lifting up the pelvis about 2 inches off the mat to press out to straight legs. And pull back in. The pelvis stays floating off the mat as you press and as you pull in. If you're too lifted, this can put weight on your neck, so just about 1 inch or 2 off the mat to press away. Pull back in. Noticing how this tiny little lift can help you create that C-curve through the bottom of the spine, and that can give you a little bit of more abdomen engagement as you press out and back in with the assistance of the springs. For 5, 4, last 3, 2, and once more. Good. Drop, don't drop. Lower the pelvis. Hands to the silver poles, silver pegs. Elbows wide. Feet stay where they're at on the outside edge of the bar. Both knees go over to one side. And back to center. And over to the other side. And back to center. Just letting the knees go from side to side. Gently allowing one hip to lift. And when it lowers back down, it goes back where it was before. So you're not shifting the hips every time you move. You're keeping your pelvis center, just letting the knees go from side to side. And noticing what this feels like on your back. Good. Keep the knees over to the right. Take the take the right foot over the left leg. And lengthen through that side. Elbows stay wide. You can look to the opposite side. Pulling back to center to switch sides. So you drop the knees to the left. Left foot over the right leg to lengthen, looking over to the right. Elbows wide. And back to center. Back to the center. Hands long. Press out. Lower. Lift the heels. For 5, 4, legs parallel. 2. Once more. Now lower the heels, bend the knees in. And once you close the carriage, lift the heels high. Press away. Lower the heels, legs are together. Bend back in, keeping the heels under as much as you can. Lift the heels high. Again, for 5. 4. 3. You may feel how your lower abdomen has to work through this movement. Last 2. Once more. And reversing, pressing out with the heels under. Lifting to high heels to come back in. Good. Let's do 5 more. Or 3. Wait. 4. 3. Last 2. Heels under, lift, high heels to come in, heels under, press the straight legs, high heels, back in, legs over the bar, hands up, take an inhale, and then sit yourself up. You are all set for today. Make sure you clean up your equipment, and we'll see you next week.